I've been known to spit the flows and make it shaky, shaky thing. Poppin', lockin', stop and let it hang. Watch us as we drop this hip hop, it's like it stings. We make a whole room drop and everybody sing. We want the funk. We gotta have that funk. We kick it old school, we think we're so cool. We take it back to the past, we gon' act a fool. Enough jumps, the middle finger make my Jaeger just a little.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Sports Buzz, the Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast Cable Channel 23, downtown Danbury, Connecticut. Yes, that's right, we are back live. Here live this week, here live next week. We've been doing tape shows here and there for a while now, but it's good to be back in the hot seat, live and direct for you. And getting ready to go. We'll be here until 7 o'clock. Phone lines are open when we're live, of course, so 203-792-4101 is the number. If you want to call in, question, comment, anything you'd like to talk about, we're here for you, ready to take your phone calls and have some good time. We're just saying, you know, let's get some people on the phone. We're live. Let's do this. All right. Usually right now we're saying hello to my right-hand man, Mr. Bob Rao Jr., but he is not here. What's the under-over on whether or not he'll be calling in soon? He's called before from deathbeds in the hospital, so the little procedure he had today, I'm sure, will not slow him down. I'm sure he will be calling any moment now to tell us all about his wonderful day in the hospital. We'll see if that actually takes place. But his show, Spotlight On, Tuesday nights at 9 and Wednesdays at 12, of course. Mike Toohey is in the control room. We've switched up some seats this week. Toohey's still in there. His show, Expose Cinema, Friday nights at 9 and Wednesdays at 1. This means since Bob is not here, we've moved the Mike McFadden, the Mets maniac, into the hot seat behind the camera on microphone. So let's say hello to Mike. How you doing there, Mike?
I'm doing okay, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Not too bad. Nice to see you back. We've had him on before behind there, and usually every time he's on, it's like a Wally Pipp situation. Bob is just like, I gotta call fast. I'm gonna lose my job. We can't have anybody else talking. It's my job. So what do you think? We give him 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? What's the under over?
I give him one.
One? He's going for 1 minute. Bob, time's ticking. I'm surprised he hasn't called yet. And that means that strange man who's back with us a second week in a row, he is in the control room running audio. No children here tonight, so Connor and Jenna are not here helping us out. The show will be doomed, I'm sure. We will not survive. Just saying, we need the kids around. Just saying, they keep everything together. All right, before we get going, and remember that phone line is open, 203-792-4101. I want to make mention, as we hear Fattie Roots in the background, I talked about this the other week, how Mikey Dread, a.k.a. Sugar Summers, is now playing with the group Black Rock Social. They've been killing it down in Bridgeport on Wednesday nights, and they are set to be killing it this weekend in Danbury, coming to our area for the Bacon and Brew Festival Saturday. They will be playing 5 o'clock down on the City Center Green in Danbury. Weather forecast is nice. They pulled all the rain out of the forecast. Supposed to be hot, mid to upper 80s. And I'm just saying, Mike, it's reggae. It's Saturday. It's sunny. What more could you ask for?
Not much, Scott.
I mean, really, people. Let's get out there. Let's check out Black Rock Social. If you thought Fattie Roots was good, and they are good, and you know, hopefully those guys will get back together at some point. But Black Rock Social, I have checked them out a little bit, and they got the full horn section, which takes things up a notch. So if you want to come down and see them, there's some other bands playing after them. They're one of the earlier ones coming on, I believe, but they're on at 5 o'clock down at City Center Green in Danbury, and there's going to be a great time, some positive vibrations, Mikey Dread doing his thing in front of Black Rock Social. So, you know, head on down there and check them out. Maybe, just maybe, I am hoping to find my way there. I was planning on it. Something is potentially blocking my way, but we will see. I am hoping to sure be down there and check that out. Of course, those free Reggae Wednesdays in Bridgeport I mentioned at the Acoustic Cafe, only a couple more of those in July, the last 2 weeks of July, and then they are heading into the studio, which will be great as well to see what they come up with, because these guys are tight, they're on point, they're killing it. I'm just saying, man, reggae, Saturday, sunny, let's do that. All right, so let's move on, let's get this show going. We're going to start, even though Bob isn't here and he's not calling in. I'm surprised. Shocking development. We will make mention of his Danbury Westerners because we know they had the horrible start, 1-13, and they lost 10 games in a row early in the season. But they have played well since that point, actually going 8-7 in their last 15 games to move their record to 9-20, which still isn't great, but at least they are winning 6-4 in their last 10. And last night down at Danbury, big come from behind victory against North Adams. They were losing 6-0 early in that game. They came back and won it 9-8 in extra innings on a walk-off.
That is a good
So that was a nice comeback for them. And also, I wanted to mention that I was in the car listening to the radio the other night, and WXCI 91.7 is actually broadcasting the games live right now. Some students are down there calling the games, so you can always catch the Westerners online for their internet broadcast. But if you're driving around town and you're in your car, just flip on the radio. 91.7 WXCI is covering those home games, and they are home next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday down in Rogers Park. So just head on down there and see what's going on, and maybe, if they keep playing a little bit above 500, chip away, another month in the season, you never know where it shakes out. They could slip in possibly with a final seed in the playoffs and, get something going. Stranger things have happened, and maybe if they just keep playing good baseball, but at least when you go down to see them, they're giving maximum effort, they're out there trying to win, and it's going to be a good time. And you can check them out. So that's what's going on with the Westerners, and that's what's happening there. All right, Mike, you want to get into MLB? It is basically the mid-season report.
Absolutely.
All-Star game was this weekend. We haven't talked too much about baseball. We've been avoiding it some, partly because my Red Sox, continue to stink, but partly because, first half of the season, a lot of things shake out. It's a long year, plus other stuff was going on. But it is the mid-season report. All-Star game took place. The American League won 6-3. All right, let's get to this, Mike. Talking about the All-Star game. Ratings, all-time low. Nobody's tuning in.
Right.
They made this experiment, which is now turned into this 13-year, 14-year thing where the All-Star game matters. The winner, the league gets home field advantage in the World Series, despite whether or not the team who has a better record might have to play Game 7 on the road, which makes no sense. I mean, when is this experiment going to end? It's not drawing ratings. The ratings go down every year. Nobody's interested in the All-Star game at all. It's a glorified Little League exhibition game because every team has to have a player on the team. So it's a participation game. That's Little League stuff, Mike.
Yep, you know why, right, Scott?
Why is that?
Interleague play.
Interleague play, which has killed a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is that, it was one thing if, you only got a chance, let's say the Mets and the Yankees would play each other in the playoffs. But when you see it during the regular season, and if they do meet in the playoffs, even though, it is for something less as the World Series, it doesn't have the, the spike in the games.
Used to be, back in the day, you never saw, if you were a National League fan, you never saw any of the American League players. They didn't play against each other. The only time you would see them is in the All-Star game, the Midsummer Classic, or in the Fall Classic, the World Series. That would be the only time. Plus, with the advent of cable television and games being on all the time, you would only see your local team and who they played. So you would never see the best players in the league from the opposite league until that All-Star game, and that's why there was so much interest. And the players had a real interest in winning. But, over time, interleague play, saturated things. Everybody sees the players all the time. They're on TV all the time. And then also, the whole participation thing. Every team has to have an all-star. Why is that? And then there's also the whole participation where the coaches and managers, and this is what led to the whole the game matters, because they finished that game in a tie. What was that, 2001, 2002? Yep. Because they ran out of pitchers, because the managers aren't managing to win, they're managing to make sure everybody participates.
Exactly.
Used to be the starting pitcher of the All-Star game would pitch 6 innings. And the starting shortstop, the starting center fielder would have the game-winning hit in the 9th inning. Because he played the whole game. Yep. Because they wanted the best players out there to try to win, and there was something at stake. Now, even though the game supposedly matters, you know, there's nothing really at stake. It's a glorified exhibition. So they got to do away with this whole game matters nonsense, which is not bringing in any ratings at all. So do away with that and just let the guys play and make it the exhibition game that it is. There's too much on the line. I mean, if you go back and you look at the history of Game 7s in World Series, the home team wins the majority of the time. This isn't hockey. This isn't basketball, although basketball probably the stats skew towards the home team. But, you know, in baseball, that means a lot. Some of the greatest series comebacks took place because the home team had Games 6 and 7. I mean, think about your Mets in '86.
That's right.
Think about the Diamondbacks coming back against the Yankees in 2001. They were home for Games 6 and 7, and they won those games. You know, same thing with the Marlins against Cleveland. They came home and they won those games. And those are classic all-time games in the history of the World Series, and there's too much on the line for it to be decided by, you know, an all-star game where the 25th guy on the team is playing in the 9th inning, pitching or hitting, and they're coming up with the game-winning hits or, you know, giving up the game-winning home run. Why is that guy determining who plays in Game 7 at home in the World Series? Memo to MLB. Fix this. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants to see it. Let's move on.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we'll see what they do. Maybe there's more steam, I think, building towards them getting rid of that. So we'll see what happens. But the MVP won Mike Trout, and he hit a leadoff home run to start the game. And let's see, we got Strange Man, Stat of the Week and or Trivia. We'll go with the trivia. Who was the last player to hit a leadoff home run in an All-Star game? Your hint, if you want to call in, we'll give you some time. 203-792-4101 is the number. Your hint, he played for Cincinnati, which is where this game took place. The All-Star game took place in Cincinnati. We'll give McFadden the first crack at it. Does he know who it is?
Let me see. In Cincinnati, and it was, I'm assuming it's been fairly recent.
Not fairly recent.
I tell you, and he was the leadoff.
Hall of Famer.
Hitter, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Well, I mean, no, it can't be.
Could be. I don't know. Who are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking Joe Morgan.
Ding, ding, ding. Mike McFadden working it out in his head. He knows his baseball. Joe Morgan got it done in, I believe it was 77. So it was quite a while ago. And Joe Morgan, good call. Second baseman, so you think top of the lineup kind of guy.
Yep.
Leadoff hitter.
What a second baseman.
And played obviously with the Big Red Machine, World Series powerhouse in the 70s. And, you know, he hit it last time. So Trout does it. He ended up with 3 RBI in the game, scored on a Prince Fielder home run later, and he's the MVP. Strange Man is not in his Stat of the Week. I think, did he win the MVP last year too, Mike Trout? I know he has an MVP for the season 2 years ago, I believe it was. The other stat is that he has a career cycle in the All-Star game. I mean, Mike Trout's only been on the scene like 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
He's now hit a home run, a triple, a double, and a single. Just saying, Mike Trout. Getting it done.
And what's his career batting average has got to be over 400, 500 also.
In the All-Star
games, yeah.
Maybe, I'm not sure. But if somebody's out there wants to look that up for us and call us in, 203-792-4101. Let's get some people on the phone. Let's get that working. All right, anyways. So that's that. But the Yankees had a few guys in there. Teixeira was there, Brett Gardner, he didn't do much. Betances had a nice outing. He struck out the side in the 7th inning, throwing heat. Struck out Brock Holt from the Red Sox. Holt did have a good moment, though, earlier when he came in to pinch run, stole second base, and then scored on a double. So he did get in the stat column there, so it was a nice outing for him. And then your boy, DeGrom, he also struck out the side in his little stint there.
Okay.
So that was nice to see DeGrom doing well.
He was phenomenal. 10 pitches. Struck out 3, and they look completely overmatched. Completely.
Yeah. So him and Betances, both the New York guys, one Yankee, one Met. Just saying, they got it done. But I mean, that's impressive in an All-Star game to strike out the side. All right, let's just move on to baseball because I don't really care about the All-Star game or that home run derby. All right, here one quick thing about the home run derby. So they had the new format, right? They put the clock in play.
Yep.
Started watching it. At first I was like, didn't really care for the clock. Overall, there was excitement, basically because of the way it played out. Todd Frazier, Cincinnati, big performance, hitting home runs late in the clock to beat pass Fielder in the first round and then to win it in the final round, 15-14. So there was drama involved because of his performance. But my thought process is this. There is no clock whatsoever in the game of baseball. That's the beauty of baseball. There is no clock. So why are you putting a clock? Just saying.
Yep, that makes
There's
no
no
sense.
clock. You know what I mean? So, but they put it in. People seem to like it. He put it on the show. So the hometown kid got it done in Cincinnati. He won it.
What do you think of Jock Peterson, the show he put on, the rookie from the LA Dodgers?
Well, I was going to say, I got his name right here, but I don't even know who he is. That's the other thing about the home run derby. Who are these guys? Have you ever heard of Todd Frazier before?
Actually, yeah. Only because there was talk that the Mets might have to give up one of their pitching prospects to get the guy.
Well, he got it done. And Peterson did have, he hit some bombs. Fielder hit some bombs too. So that was all right. But here we go. They got the Mets photos up there. Let's talk Mets first. So they finished the first half of the season 7-3 in their last 10, moves them to 47-42, 5 games over 500. They had dipped 1 game below about 2-3 weeks ago, but they recovered from that. Still remain 2 games behind the Nationals. Let's just go right to the Met Maniac. Let's get his opinion. What is he thinking as we go second half? All right, let me just ask this question. Where are you on the manager, Terry Collins?
You know what? I'm not the biggest fan of Terry Collins, but the one thing that we'll say this year, I think he's done a great job. And the reason I say that is that if you've looked at all the injuries the team has had, to keep this team 5 games over 500, you haven't had David Wright basically for the whole year.
8 games he's only played.
Exactly. Darno has been gone for a lot of time too.
Oh, that's right.
Remember the lefty reliever Blevins? Blevins was lost early in the season.
Don't forget Wheeler.
Exactly. You lost Mejia. I mean, the job he's done with that team, when you consider, look at their batting averages. I mean,
terrible.
Yeah, no one is hitting on that team, and your 5 games over 500 is unbelievable.
Yeah, the guys who have not been hurt and played majority of the games, the top batting averages are around 270.
Exactly.
So not good. But in recent years, I questioned somewhat. I felt like the young players weren't developing. In the second half, they would always swoon. So I was concerned that Collins maybe wasn't getting the most out of these guys. But, this year, as you mentioned, with the injuries, keeping things together, and also worth noting, Harvey coming off surgery, the Dark Knight has not risen.
No, he has not.
8-6 with a 3.07. 3.07 is not bad. It's a decent ERA. But considering, what he was and what you expect from him and what you were hoping for, not a dominant performance. Although you had to be happy to see him hit a home run the other day.
Oh, absolutely. And Scott, remember this. Look how many games the pitchers would have won had the Mets been able to score a few runs for them. Because remember, there were a lot of games that they've lost 1-0 or 2-1 because they just could not score runs.
Yeah, absolutely. But the young arms are doing well. Syndergaard pitching very well. We mentioned DeGrom. Cologne had the great start. He's stumbled a little bit.
Yeah, he has.
His ERA is up over 4 now, but he's still a veteran, still a solid guy there. Bullpen's been okay. They've recovered since losing their closer. Is he back from suspension now?
Yeah, Mejia's back.
He is back.
Yeah.
But Familia has been real good.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, I think he should have made the All-Star team. That's how good he's been.
Yeah, he's been right. He could have been considered. And then, so the interesting thing that also took place, a guy that I kind of liked, even though he never really performed, there was something about him that I just felt like they should hang on to, but they got rid of him. Kirk Neuenhuis, they sent him off, but he didn't stick. Where'd they send him? Oakland, and they didn't keep him?
The Angels.
The Angels? But then they didn't keep him.
Exactly.
So he cleared waivers. The Mets bring him back. He hits 3 home runs the other day. That was quite nice. So just saying, sometimes it's good to be lucky and get a guy to come back that you got rid of, right?
Hopefully his bat is started up again because they need it. They need somebody to hit off the bench.
They do need somebody. They need more power. Granderson's doing okay with the power, but not great. And his average, of course, is down. So they start the second half of the season against the best team in baseball, St. Louis Cardinals. The Redbirds getting it done at 56-33. 2.5 games up, though, the Pirates, the Buccos. How about them putting the pressure on 53-35? Really keeping the pressure on the Cardinals. That is nice to see.
That's a dangerous team.
Charlie
too.
Morton is 6-2, the kid from Joe Barlow, Reading, Connecticut, 4.15 ERA. So, you know, Pittsburgh, you know, because, I mean, the Cardinals at 56-33, you'd think that they're running away with their division. Not so. 2.5 behind them. The Pirates keeping things on. Cubs, everybody's darlings of the year, with my least favorite man, Joe Madden, leading the way at 47-40. But, you know, they're hanging around, but, you know, they're going to have to do better than that. Out west, it's the Dodgers, 51-39, starting to distance themselves 4.5 games up on the Giants, who really stumbled right before the break at 46-43. Of course, the defending champions, but we know they only win every other year, the Giants, so this won't be their year to get it done. They're an even number year team, so they won't do anything this year. But so the Nationals are the team you guys got to catch, and I mean 48-39. The Nationals are a team that should be running away with it, but they have their problems. I think offensively, especially, they do have great pitching staff, but I think they're there for the taking. I think you guys could get them if you hang out. What is the deal with David Wright? Is he going to play or what?
That's a good question, Scott. I mean,
how much is he getting paid? Just say it, Mike. I mean, how much is the guy getting paid?
He's getting paid a lot of money, and I got to tell you, with what they were saying before, before the All-Star
break. He's doing baseball activities.
According to Terry Collins,
manage the pain, David Wright.
He has started doing supposedly similar baseball activities. Now, what that means, that's a fault, but that's not, you know, that's not going to the minor leagues and getting in a real game. So, in my opinion, I think, you know, I think the Mets really should consider sitting him down and just letting the back heal, because what's it going to do if you get him back, let's say 2 months from now, which is near the end of the season, okay? You're going to already have a team, if they're making a push for the playoffs, your guys are already going to have some type of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Chemistry between them, you know? And to break that up, even though, you know, Wright is a long-time Met and everything, I wouldn't want to break that up. That's why I say it's going to be interesting to see if they bring in another bat, you know?
But, I mean, they signed him to that huge contract. He's been a total bust ever since. Just saying, that's all. Get it done,
and remember,
David,
Scott, and another thing, Scott, you know, the pitching staff, these guys are capable of going on like a 2-week span where they just, you know,
lock it down, shut it down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they are. I wish the Red Sox had a pitching staff like that, but that's not so. And of course, the Yankees gave them a little dose of reality. The mediocre Yankees, 48-40. Remember the good old days when it used to be like 30 games over 500 was needed to win the AL East?
Yep.
Not so. Just saying. 48-40. 8 games over 500. You know what that gives you this year?
What?
A 3.5 game lead at the All-Star break. I mean, that's pathetic. What is going on here? Tampa 1-9 stretch, although they won their final 3 before the break. They're 1 game over 500. Baltimore 2-8 in their last 10 before the break. They're 500. Toronto 3-7 before the break. They're 1 game below. Red Sox were a little bit hot before they hosted the Yankees and then lost 2 out of 3 in what was just pathetic baseball. Buchholz, who was their hottest pitcher, pitching great, of course, gets hurt. He's on the 15-day DL in that first game of the series, which they lost 5-1. And even with him getting hurt, I mean, they could have won that game if, 1, they hit, or 2, they did not commit 3 errors in one inning. We have a phone call. Let's see who we got. Hello, we have a phone call here. How you doing?
Hey, Scott, Strange Man here. I decided to call in.
Oh, Strange Man calling from the studio.
Hey, Bob, if you're listening, come back soon. Hey, Scott, I just want to say about the All-Star game with the older players coming in there, like Bench and, you know, Pete Rose. They got a standing ovation. But here's the deal. Why can't we have Pete Rose in the Hall, man?
Because he bet on baseball. He bet on baseball. Plain and simple. First rule, first sign you see in any clubhouse, in any major league stadium, it's on the wall as soon as you walk in. No gambling. That's
well,
it.
You know, hey, A-Rod's got the asterisk, so he'll probably not get into the Hall. But
No, he won't.
Perfect. I'm just saying, Scotty.
Just saying.
It's to be considered. And listen, we got to work on the White Sox too, because what's his name?
Well, he should have got in. He got screwed.
All right, Scotty, take it easy. Strange man over now.
All right, strange man chiming in. Yes, that's right. It was back in Cincinnati. So of course, Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose was there getting the standing ovation. He's not getting in the Hall of Fame. They're not going to let him back in. There was a report recently that he bet while he was a player, and he's lied about it forever.
Scott, he might get in after he passes away, but he's never getting in. I don't think as long as he's
the
alive.
White Sox scandal, as you just mentioned, those guys never got in, even though they should have. So, all right, we don't have that much time left. Red Sox got work to do. They are 42 and 47. Wake me when they're 10 games over 500. Maybe I'll talk about them again. Until then, we'll talk about the Mets. British Open got underway today, 144th at the Old Course, St. Andrews. Kind of a letdown. Rory McIlroy blew out his Achilles playing soccer the other week, and he, of course, is supposed to have this rivalry with Justin Spieth. Spieth, -5 today, 67, birdied 5 of his first 7 holes, and he birdied the 18th. So he is 2 shots off the leader, Dustin Johnson, who was the runner-up at the U.S. Open. So it should be a good weekend there. Retief Goosen, interesting name on the leaderboard at -6. Tiger being force-fed down our throat by the media. Just saying, guys, just saying. He has not won a major in 8 years. Just saying. Just saying. Tiger has not won a major in 8 years. Maybe you can get off that story. You know? I mean, he shot a 76 today, bogeyed 1 and 2. This is the guy that we're supposed to be paying attention to? Let's move on with our lives, people. Just saying. Tour de France, Britain's Chris Froome is the leader. USA's TJ Van Gardner is second in the Tour de France right now. We're into week 2. The leader from last week, Tony Martin from Germany, he got injured. He is out. Lurking, Contador from Spain in 6th. Nibali finally moved up a little bit today. The defending champion Vincenzo from Italy, he is in 9th, but 7 minutes off the pace. He needs to do some work. Gold Cup is heading to the quarterfinals this weekend. USA got through the group stage, beating Honduras, Haiti, and Panama. Saturday, 5 o'clock versus Cuba. That's who they're playing in the quarterfinal. And of course, Wimbledon, Serena Williams on pace for the Grand Slam. She won it. Now it'll be about a month or so before the U.S. Open. All the hype will lead up to that. Djokovic knocked off Roger Federer. Overall, it was kind of a slow sports week, so if you're looking for something to do, head out and pick up ESPN, the magazine, The Body Issue, and sit back and relax and flip through there. You might see some nice sights in that.
You mean you're not interested in the gymnastics there, Scott? Or?
Well, you know, there's a gymnastics person from the gymnastics on the cover. I thought maybe we would get that shot up there.
Who would that be, Scott?
Allie Raisman gracing the cover in a very nice photo. No, maybe. I guess not.
Artistic? Right. Artistic?
Artistic. Extremely artistic. You know me. I like those artistic photos. The arts. I'm all about it. All right. Check out Black Rock Social this weekend down in Danbury on the Green. Bacon and Brew Festival. I think $15 in advance, 20 at the door.
You said 30 seconds.
Online, find that. And check them out. Black Rock Social. Positive Vibrations. Irie. Just saying. We'll see you next week. Oh, we got more time? Yeah. No. All right. There it is.